It's Hughezy, hello, and today we've got the great Esther Ku coming on. We've got live footage from the wild Creative Control Network New Year's Eve party. And then Paul returns and we're doing the debate that everybody loves of the top 5 pop. First, plugs. Do not forget that there's a show's Patreon where you can get a lot of exclusive content, early, uncut, and uncensored. For example, up there right now, a 30-minute interview that I did with Joe Feeney, which probably won't be on the podcast for about another 2 to 3 weeks. That is the best place to hear that. And the money donated also helps the show keep going because this show costs money. Don't forget that if you're listening to this on iTunes, there's a YouTube video version. Don't forget if you're watching this on YouTube, there is an audio uncut version. Also, don't forget to go join the Keeping It 100 official YouTube channel. That's one I run. And don't forget to subscribe to the Keeping It 100 YouTube channel where you hear classic and new clips as often as possible. And don't forget to check out the other shows on the Creative Control Network. There's Wrestling with Regret. There's World Through My Eyes with David Radigan. There's Oh What a Rush podcast with Animal. There's an honourable mention. And don't forget the one by Joe Feeney himself, Creative Control. And don't forget to look us up on social media because that's how it gets interactive. If you want to be part of the show, that's how you can get involved. And the plugs are over. Okay, up first is the music debate. Pulp's one of the greatest bands of all time. If you don't know them, you're lost. Paul, hello. So, Paul, welcome back once again to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
The lads coming down from Christmas.
Indeed. Good Christmas. Good, yeah, good, quiet, boring. See, you're still on the pints of vodka.
No, this one's an actual water.
An actual water? All right, okay.
I think of honest to Christ, I think I've finally hit the wall.
Which wall?
Of the whole drinking and partying stuff. I can't do it. Like it actually makes me feel sick almost instantly, and then the hangovers last for 2-3 days.
Not good.
Yeah, I think it's finally got to the point where it's like you've had enough.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'll ever have enough booze. You always say that, but come on, you know.
Well, I'll probably not drink as regularly. Is what I mean. Like I'll probably always, especially because like St. Patrick's Day's coming in 2 months. Like, but
yeah, and then of course there's what's it called, the weekend as well. That comes up.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely do dry January.
Right.
And then after that, I'll because February's when the gigs start up again, so it's like, well, I'm fucking busy.
Right. Of course.
But we're here today to talk about the top 5 of Pulp. So tell me, what's your level of Pulp fandom?
I would say, well, nothing special really. I mean, they have like 2 or 3 albums before, the kind of Britpop period, I suppose, where nobody really knew about them. And I have to say, neither did I, and I don't really care that much. But Jarvis Cocker doesn't really care either. I was reading a thing, because there was one of the older albums was like reissued or something, and he wasn't consulted or something, and he wasn't happy about it. I think he compared it to an embarrassing old family picture. But yeah, he's not keen on the earlier material himself, so fair enough. Yeah.
See, for me, Pulp's one of these bands that, and I'm sure you're like this with a few bands as well, where love them up to a certain point, and then I just stopped giving a shit.
Patchy at best, I think, for me,
I still to this day I've heard one song from their last album, We Love Life.
Well, it's probably one more than a lot of people have heard. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing. Because the thing what I like talking about this, because the rumors are starting up again that they might do another lap of the reunion tour.
Well, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I saw them at Electric Picnic, Dublin, but like it was 2011 or something. They were amazing, so good.
Yeah, the thing about Pulp is that they're one of these bands that I've come to realise that, see, behind maybe Oasis, they're probably my second favorite of the Britpop bands.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, see, Pulp. They were a bit, they got big in the Britpop era, but see, like Pulp and Suede, to me, they're not Britpop to me. You know, it's Blur and Oasis or something. It was like a media sort of hyped up thing. And you know, I think Suede and Pulp had their own thing going. You know what I mean? They weren't like laddie, if you like. Like Blur weren't laddie either, but I, you know,
They were lady.
they were lady.
But we're here to talk Pulp, and we're going to do the top
Cool.
five. And I got to say that I whittled my list down to 7.
Okay.
And I was literally just staring at the list, and I could not decide which two to go. So I just randomly closed my eyes and went like that one and that one, and just deleted them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know what you mean. You have to be cutthroat in this.
So while this is a top 5 Pulp list, this might not actually be my top 5.
Okay. Yeah.
But
well, I know it's hard. It is hard, like, because there's a good couple of songs that I left out, and I'm like, but then I'm just going on gut instinct. I try not to think about it too much. Well, for the sake of this podcast, obviously I have to talk about it, but yeah, just pick the ones that are, I don't know, just hit me more or something. I don't know.
and if there's one thing I've got after Christmas, it's got.
Yay!
So why don't you slam us with your number 5 greatest Pulp song of all time?
All right, number 5 on my list is from His and Hers, 1994. It is Lip Gloss.
Oh,
I have a feeling that me and you are maybe going to have similar songs, but anyway, the first time I heard this, I didn't have that album. I had like a hits. It's called Hits. It was like a compilation album in 2002. And that's kind of how I got into Pulp, because I was listening to obviously all the other stuff, and then I got that. It was great. But this song's class. It's just great melody, great guitar riffs, lovely synth work in it as well. And from what I can recall, I didn't have time to check it out earlier, but apparently they've got like a cool 90s video for it as well, like, which was very kind of Brit poppy psychedelic. So yeah, great track.
I would definitely agree with that. Well, with my number 5, I'm going to have to go with Razzmatazz from the album. Well, from the album I know it as, it's called Intro, the Gift Recordings.
Ooh.
And this is one of these weird songs where, with Jarvis Cocker, like the lyrics are weird. It's like, you know, the thing about with your brothers is always sleeping with your mother and all that sort of stuff. And you don't know, are you trying to write a song? Are you trying to be all arty and shocking, you know?
Yeah, but it's a good opening line, isn't it, though, for a song, you know?
Oh, brilliant.
Sets the scene.
And the thing about, do I mention pop music videos, is the thing is when you check out this one, they filmed it, part of the video of Jarvis Cocker out in what it called Trafalgar Square in London. And he looks really, really embarrassed because Pulp aren't huge, and he's out there in one of his weird rock star suits, and they're trying to get him to dance in public, and you can tell that he's like, I'm not feeling very comfortable here, lads.
I have to check it out. I haven't seen that one now. Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about this song and the intro. It's like it's rock, but it's pop, but it's that kind of music that I like to hear. You know, it's perfect for in the pub.
Yeah.
Because it's a class tune, and it's not like chill back, but it's not, you know, you're not going to get up and start dancing to it and shit. But
yeah, no, it's great.
Yay for Razzmatazz.
Indeed, yay.
What did we get in there at number 4?
Number 4 is from, this is Hardcore, 1988, and it's Party Hard.
Yes.
It's what a song, you know. The drums come in straight away, and then that class riff comes in, and again, it's one of the nice. It's one of those, Jarvis at his kind of, he's really weird, but he became like this kind of unlikely sex symbol for some reason. I obviously he's cool in his own way, like, but there's a line in this song. It's like, this man is dangerous. He just shed his load on your best party frock. Before you enter the Palace of Wisdom, are you ready to rock or something like that? But well, that's great. I just love the way that he just plays with the word. It's really simple, but it's funny and great stuff. What a class song.
And my favorite part of it is I don't know what it's called in guitars, but it's like a sustained note.
Yeah,
It goes from like it changes keys going up to high pitch, and there's a bit that goes, and if you really come to party, why did you? And it goes, ooh.
Yeah, it's great.
I absolutely love that song.
Yeah, amazing.
But the thing is, because this is hardcore. That album, that's when they all started. They were really into the drug scene, and then you could sort of tell because after they did the Common People album, it took them like 2-3 years until This Is Hardcore came out, and then it was like another 4 or 5.
Yeah.
We Love Life came out, and it's like you missed the boat there, lads.
I know, it's weird, like, and then they just kind of, I get so 90, not This Is Hardcore. They were into the drugs, then, yeah.
Oh yeah, but I remember Noel Gallagher said in an interview that bands back then were making so much money off album sales and royalties that even smaller bands were making like hundreds of thousands. That nobody really wanted to tour.
Right.
So like, because like these days they'll go on tour for like 2 years, a year and a half. But back in the 90s, they would go on tour for about 3 months.
Yeah.
For like the whole tour in total. And Noel says like you just walk into the pubs, like the Good Mixer and stuff, and there'd be people from Pulp and Blur and the Manics and Suede all in the same pub, like different tables, and it's like, why would you want to go on tour,
I know. Or well, if you're Oasis back then, you'd only go on tour for about 2 weeks and then fight and come home.
Exactly. The number 4 song that I'm going to go with, it's from the classic album Different Class. Something Changed.
Lovely.
Yes. It's one of these ones that, because one of the problems with the Britpop era is my favorite era of music, but a lot of the ballads don't hold up and they're very cheesy, but this isn't one of them.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And I think the music video for Remember, wasn't it all filmed in one like continuously long take?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I need to check it out actually, but yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
but these are the sort of songs that stuff like this is perfect for when they're playing live, because like everybody knows it and it goes exactly like that,
Yeah, that's uncanny, like.
But that's one of the great things about Pulp and Jarvis Cocker is that his voice isn't brilliant, so it's not impossible to sing along with.
No, I know, and I mean they, as you touched on it earlier, they kind of have different musical styles mixed in, don't they? Like the straddle, like the indie rock, and then this is more of a ballady song, and then they have like kind of almost disco punk with like party hard, and then like they have new wave, and they're just a real class versatile band, weren't they?
They really are just brilliant. So what did we get in there at number 3?
Number 3 from, this might be the song that you've heard from We Love Life, but anyway, bad cover version.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is my number 3. I picked this one because Well, it's the best song on that album, but it's my third favorite song. Also, that's why. Um, it's just real nice, jangly, melodic. Scott Walker produced this album, and he's obviously like a big influence on Jarvis Cocker and Pulp as well. And this song's very Walker-esque. I thought, real lyrically, it's kind of the song's really nice and kind of ballady or whatever, but the lyrics are kind of dark enough, so it's good. It's a good juxtaposition of that there. It's a great song, really nice.
And plus, it also music video wise,
I haven't seen it.
Oh well, see, this is the thing that duped me, because the music video is very funny in that it's like a send up of Live Aid.
Oh yeah, right, yeah, of course.
And it's got a bunch of tribute band singers on singing the song, like a Liam Gallagher impersonator, a Tina Turner impersonator, and then Jarvis is miming playing guitar because he's pretending to be Brian May.
Okay,
such
larks.
Oh yeah. I remember when that album came out, it was just like no one gives a shit.
Like 2001, yeah, it was full of.
That Oasis didn't have an album out.
Yeah.
They generally got. When you want to have an album out, because if people are like, if they're like the biggest indie rock band in the world, you might as well just try and jump on that vibe or whatever you call it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I mean, Pulp broke up. What, they break up like twice or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like this was coming off the back of This Is Hardcore, that album, like, and they were maybe trying to make like a more artistic kind of statement or something, but I don't know. I haven't really listened to it that We Love Life that much, but it's when you compare it to the others, it's not as good. Like,
speaking of good, at number 3, I'm going with Misshapes.
Nice one.
Also from the legendary Different Class album. And this is one of these songs that you'd love to go to the person and say, you sure that's how you want to do the intro for the song?
Right.
Because it's like, little do they know it's going to be this absolute banger of like all kinds of fast drums and guitars, and the speed and the lyrics are getting faster, and it's just like, it's a great way for, I would say, if I was writing a Pulp set list, this would be song 2.
Okay, yeah.
Because I would get them with my number 1 song and then smash them.
Although, yeah, no, Misshapes is a great track. I can't recall the video for this one. Pulp had interesting videos, didn't it, as well? Like,
yeah, well, the video for this was it was like Jarvis playing different types of characters, and on one hand he's like he's like a Nancy boy, and then the other character is like a thug.
Yeah.
And it's like the thugs and the Nancy's out at this nightclub, and they end up fighting throughout the night, and it's a good one.
It's a doozy. Yeah, cool. Great song, like, really, really great album as well.
Great record.
Just great.
So
I didn't. Sorry. I always thought that Jarvis Cocker was a stage name, but from what I can gather, it's his real name. That's what I've been looking at, anyway.
I bet you that must have been fun being called Cocker at school.
Yeah. Jarvis Branson Cocker.
Yeah.
His full name.
That's the thing, because like if you're a rock star and your name is like Farting Puberts, then that's class. But if you're at school, you're gonna get wedgied for fifth year.
Yeah, big time.
So what have you got in there at your number
Number
two greatest pop
two,
song of all time?
my second best favorite song of all time was actually one of yours earlier, Razzmatazz.
Ah,
First time I heard this one, because it's not on an album. Obviously, I heard it on that hits compilation that I had. But yeah, what more can we add? It's just it's class, great, angry lyrics, and it's just a real, like, I suppose it is a bit dark in a way, like, but it just um the way, well, some way the drums kick in, and just the song just really keeps gathering momentum, and it just kicks off basically.
so Razzmatazz isn't from an album.
No, it's not an album, but it was like their last. They were like on like some record label gift or something, and it was their last single that they released before the album came out, before His and Hers came out. So it wasn't on an album for some reason. I don't know why. But I kind of like that as well. You know, when bands have these standalone kind of songs, singles that aren't on albums. I like that.
Well, my number two greatest pub song of all time. This is Hardcore,
Yeah.
and it's a shame that because the album This Is Hardcore is okay. Like it's not. And you just think, how do you get it so average, but then this is so like epic.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's a real, like, Jarvis Cocker has a real gift of being creepy, but it's not like, you don't think like, oh my god, like, I don't like him. You know, you think, yeah, he's kind of weird, but he's like the geek that made it or something. You know what I mean? And and especially in this track as well. You know, is that the that goes in there, that go? He's at his sort of sexy best, isn't he? Almost.
Very sexy. But this is the thing I love about the This Is Hardcore album and this song especially. And it happened with bands. It happened with albums like "Be Here Now," "An OK Computer," and oh fuck. And this is why a song like "This Is Hardcore" is quite rare
Yeah, yeah.
because not many bands get to that level.
Yeah, it's an interesting song. The brass and stuff in there, and the kind of swing drums almost, like, yeah, it's good track.
And speaking of interesting, do you want to know who is in the music video for This Is Hardcore?
Hey,
Do you remember the amazing singer Lolly?
wow.
She did that unbelievable cover, maybe the greatest cover ever. You know, of "Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind." Hey Mickey.
Yeah, we all remember.
And she had two class albums before her record company asked her to not make anymore because
Yeah.
and the first album was called My First Album.
No way.
And guess what the second album was called?
My second album.
Holy shit. Well, of course you knew that because we love Lolly.
Well, I was gonna say that, don't ruin it for your listeners. That's the next time out.
In fact, for any listeners, for the next episode, we're going to do a top 47 of Lolly. So, what is the number one greatest pulp song of all time?
Number one. Okay. From His and Hers. Do you remember the first time?
Hmm.
It's an absolute anthem. Like, This has probably always been my favorite Pulp song, to be honest, because it was like I first heard it. I didn't hear it from the album. I think I saw the video. The video was class as well. It's like kind of you've probably seen it. Like it's the camera is like almost on like a wheel or something, and it's going round and round, and it's like almost going through different shots, like on a wheel. I can't describe it anyway. But the song itself, uh, it's an anthem. It's really beautiful as well in parts. Like, of course, whenever the chorus kicks in, that guitar riff just it's amazing. Like, and then Cocker again up to his old tricks with the lyrical genius. Like, just I love the line in it. It's I don't care if you screw him, just as long as you save a piece for me. You know that's like but there's something really amazing about that because it's like it's really like truthful as well. You know, we wasn't scared of like kind of telling it how sort of shit life is, but you know, there's always a wee bit of hope. You know, he's not completely given up on the girl. You know, he doesn't care if she even like goes with another fella as long as she hangs about for for a bit for him. But yeah, what a song! I love it. Brilliant.
Well, I gotta admit, I'm not really a big fan of that one. So let's just jump ahead
All
to
right.
my number one, which is from the album His and Hers. It's called Do You Remember the First Time? And the thing about this song that I love is like it's an anthem, and it's
Okay.
always been my favorite Pulp song. Parker says, "I don't care if you screw him as long as you save a piece for me."
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also when but that is genuinely my favorite Pulp song. Like it's unplay outable, and I know I say this all the time, but uh, last time we were driving down the highway to Dublin, and everybody always plays music dead loud on the highway, and that song came on, and one of the guys in the car is a mate of mine, Figgy. He's not really educated musically at all. For example, he'd never heard of Dr. Dre until Straight Outta Compton came out, the film,
Okay, right.
which was shocking to me.
Yeah, that's he shouldn't tell anyone that. Like,
He'd never heard of Pulp before until about last August, September,
yeah.
and that song came on the music player. We call it the iPod, and he got us to play it like 4 or 5 times in a row, and I was like, no problem at all with that.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Like, I mean, it is, as you say, like I've heard it a load of times, and it's yet to be played out in my eyes. You know.
And plus, when they did that reunion tour, which obviously I didn't get to see live, but I seen it on TV. I think it was a Reading and Leeds festival, or maybe Glastonbury or whatever, and they opened with this, and the place went.
What else can you say? Like, it's so good.
But it is one of the greatest intros ever. Like, because it's got that sort of slow, atmospheric, slowly building intro, and the other instruments are kicking in more and more, and there's like a wee sound effect here and an effect pedal here, and then
Yeah.
it always goes, "Do you remember the first time?" And it's like, yes. And this is what, like, you're never going to get that with Ed Sheeran.
Sheeran.
Whatever he doesn't deserve to be.
He doesn't deserve to be. No, well, of course not. Like, I mean, this is where the youth of today, or not? No, no, I'm being unfair. Cool young people wouldn't like Ed Sheeran, of course, but the
Yeah, but the thing that really worries me about the kids today is like I don't even like 1975, right?
I think they're terrible.
I like their debut single "Sex," and I remember when I heard that, I thought, "Oh, nice! This is going to be like sort of a throwback kind of band that we can get behind. This is going to be great." And then they just turned out to be. But if Pulp does a reunion tour again, which has been spoken about, we've got to go and we've got to share a Fanta.
Oh yeah, I'll be sharing a tin or two of Fanta. Maybe actually, do you know what? We'll maybe have a Sprite as well.
Oh, and you know what's going to be great when we do go to this Pulp reunion tour? And if he goes, and the next day you go, do you remember the first time? And I'll go, yeah, that was my first time.
We laugh.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And if there's one thing that's got to be known about us Creative Control Network boys, is that we're wild, wild party men, wild party animals. You can't stop partying all the time. If you want proof, here's footage from our New Year's Eve party that we recorded about a week before New Year's Eve. So get ready for some wildness for some wild men. Joe Feeney, John Wanglund, hello. So hey guys, thanks for coming to the big It's Hughesy Hello New Year's Eve party.
All right.
Boom.
The wild men, the bad boys of the CCN.
Absolutely.
Especially seeing as we dropped the dead weight from Christmas.
What do you? Oh, okay.
Good, Hughezy. I'm going to drink a Christmas beer for you at 12 o'clock in the afternoon today.
There you go.
You know, well, Hughezy's honor, I'll even do it, man. I'm feeling a little bit better today, so I'll plug a good beer out for you, man. A little real man's beer, a little Coors Light. How's that sound?
Oh, jeez.
We're seeing as the party started, we are the wild men. I got to ask you, Joe, did you happen to catch the latest Jericho podcast?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Because what's it like knowing that Jericho brought up your name?
I did hear that. Yeah, and then of course Conan, under his breath buried me in the background. But yeah, that was pretty. I was just listening to it, cleaning around my basement. Now the joke is that Vince doesn't know my name, so but that's
really
right.
Calls you Mike Feeney all the time, man. At the end of it, we were talking for like 25, 30 minutes, man. And
yeah,
I joked with him the one time, and then he runs with it, man, because he really doesn't remember people's names.
I think he thinks there's more than one. Like he thinks the Mike Feeney is the network guy, and then Joe Feeney is the show guy. That's because I had him on like 3 times, but I know for Conan and all that.
Joe a couple times actually.
Maybe he thinks your name's Bro Feeney. Let me ask you this question, John. Does it ever bother you when Conan kind of buries the podcasts?
You mean buries what podcast? Like something specific on the network, or keep it at 100, or what?
Is it just like our podcast?
Nah, because that's just his thing. I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. Like he told me way in advance when I was starting the show, he's like, you're a good dude, but from here I got to bury you like all the time. And I was like, I know. He's like, yeah, so try not to take anything personally on Twitter when I bury you on the show. And I was like, dude, I'm good. Although it does bother me a little bit sometimes, and I got to, pull myself out of it and go, wait a minute, this is just part of the gig, So it's just part of the gig.
Yeah, my whole thing is it's like when they make fun of the people that we sometimes get on our shows, and it's like, well, how do you expect us to get bigger if you're trashing us? But at the same time,
but they always say there's no such thing as bad publicity or whatever. So as long as names are getting mentioned and plugged and whatnot. And I think everything's going pretty well. I mean, like we all saw, John just cracked, the iTunes charts and everything like that. And even if Radigan did get worked, he had he had some good numbers recently, and you had some good numbers when you had Eric on. So everybody's doing pretty good.
Well, hopefully my next one will be good because, and I never told you this, John Wanglund, but my next two guests, I actually finished recording the episode today, or editing it, is Joe Cronin and Nick Aldis.
Mm-hmm.
You got Nick ahead of me, huh?
Yeah, it was very weird. And I emailed him on like Tuesday night last week, or on the 22nd, and then we interviewed on the 23rd morning.
How was it?
It actually went really well. Like he kind of went off on a bit of an angry rant about Impact, which hopefully might get a bit of gossip going.
Yeah.
But seeing as we're at a New Year's Eve party, and it's always best to start off talking about something that might cause an argument. Who's better between the Beatles or Queen?
Oh man, it's like I'm not a fan, but I'm not like as obsessive with those guys as I am with like the Doors or Guns N' Roses. So I know their catalog, I know their radio hits, I know some other smaller hits, but I don't know them that well, I think. But just for me being sort of more than a casual fan, I'd probably say Queen.
What about yourself there, John? By the way, I'm loving this new beard you've got going, John.
Oh, well, thank you, man. I got to edge it up really good. Joe's got the thick, good one right there. You got the baby beard going in, Hughezy.
All gray and white, man, and I'm only 37, so it's turning on me. I'm gonna have to start dyeing it and shit.
Oh, hey, it's all right, man. Trust me, I do the same, man, because mine's going fully gray all the time already. I'm not a Beatles fan. I never have been, man. I mean, I'm not saying they don't create good music, but I'm not a Beatles fan, so I would go Queen all day long, man.
I would, because that's the thing. Because I've come to realize it, that I mean, I always loved Queen, but they've so many great songs that, like, when you listen to them when you're drinking, you go, "This is not only a great classic band, this is probably in the top 3 bands ever." And I think Queen are better than the Beatles.
Yeah.
Here's the next topic I'd love to talk about at this wild party we're having, and is it gross for grown men, or should I say, is it inappropriate for grown men to be attracted to other women their own age dressed up as schoolgirls?
It's a good one. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
What?
Dressed up as schoolgirls.
Oh, I don't think it's appropriate, but I think people are very attracted to it though for some reason, man.
Are you?
I'll put my wife in a schoolgirl outfit all day long and be attracted to it, man. I'm not gonna.
But does that not mean you're attracted to the idea of an underage girl?
Nah, not at all, man. I just like her in that sexy outfit, man.
Yeah, I think it's the outfit more than the age range.
Mm-hmm. But some people, though, for that way you're looking at it, there are some people that like it for that reason, man.
See that, and that's the other thing. We were talking about this the other day in the pub. I was out drinking, and we were saying, is it creepy to think back to stuff you did when you were younger with girls? It's like, but then that means you're thinking about, when I was 14 and I was 13.
Yeah.
Is that creepy?
I always have a saying that I say to my friends as I hit like 26, 27 and kept getting older. Like whenever we talk about shit like that, I always just look really remorseful and I'll go, "Oh, man, I'm never gonna have sex in the dorm room again."
I feel bad for having sex with in my younger age, man, because we don't know what the.
I think so, and it's another thing that I notice as I get older. I think like my attraction, like my wife's around the same age. Obviously, I'm attracted to her, but when I'm out at the bars and stuff, and my friend has a younger brother around 25. He usually hangs out with us, and I'll see the girls he's hanging out with, and they just look like.
It's always showing. And back in the day, I used to look at them and think, oh, wow, look at her. I'm going to try and get talking to her, buy her a drink, see if I can get off to that night. But these days, when I see that, I just look at them and think, well, they look really cold.
Yeah, cover up.
Yeah. Here's a topic for you, and I think this would be a fun one for us chaps to talk about. Name 3 men that you think are attractive. And I don't just mean, oh, you know, he's in good shape, he's a good thing. No, 3 men that you go, that's a good looking man. And we'll take turns and we'll do one each, just like in prison.
I want to start. I'm excited to start, you know. Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm always I celebrate the guy's entire film catalog, and my wife will come down and be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Brothers was great, and then the one where he's the detective looking for the missing kids. Go for that tight, that sort, you know.
What about you, John? Would you bang Jake Gyllenhaal?
He's not my style, man. He's not my style. He's a handsome dude. I'll say he's a good-looking guy, man. He's not my style. I'd say Brad Pitt, Fight Club-ish, man.
Oh no, that was a sexy man.
Yeah,
that one, dude.
And my dudes don't have to be ripped.
I think it's because we want to try to look like some of these.
Three, and he is a lovely, lovely, handsome man with a great smile too. Speaking of great smiles, I'm going to have to go with Ryan Reynolds. Handsome fella, very funny. His body is redonkulous, and he seems like it'd be a good laugh on a night out.
Definitely. Seems like not one of the actors that takes themselves. And a charmer, and he enjoys enjoys the party. So that's my kind of dude right there.
I've never really been into Jericho looks wise that much. I think he's got like that weird sort of dwarf shaped head.
Really?
Yeah, it's like he's got his whole head, nose, and face kind of. He's got, like, his head looks like Amy Schumer's body.
And he just seems like a fun guy, man. I couldn't talk to him for 5 seconds because his robotic French Canadian voice drives me. What about you? Who's your number 2?
Oh, number 2, question dodger. I have to go with Bruce Springsteen.
Ruggedly handsome.
He's just a manly man, and as we've all seen from the Dance in the Dark video, what an arse he's got.
And he can dance. He can break out the white guy moves.
For reason, man.
So, Joe, let's hear your third and final man that you're most attracted to.
I had to. It's a tough one, so it's like a tie because I can't just name one and not name the other. I'll feel bad. So I got to go Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
Very nice. Very nice. Talented as well. And Chris Pratt, I will go with. As we mentioned, Ryan Reynolds seems like a good time. Chris Pratt, to me, seems like he don't take himself too seriously. Seems like a good time and a terrific smile.
did you ever see me in the movie where I had AIDS?
No, I skipped that one.
Well, maybe I caught AIDS, or maybe the AIDS caught me. Did you ever think about it?
He was tremendous as Russ Cole.
What's that one?
True Detective. So then the next season it was like, oh, I'm gonna have a female lead, which was what's her face from Notebook and Wedding Crashers and Rachel McAdams. Yeah, he got buried for having two white males as the leads in the first season and no strong female characters and all this.
She showed her arse, and then there was that bit when McConaughey had the affair with Woody Harrelson's wife, and he grabbed her ass inside his house.
Yeah, I liked her in that a lot. I can't remember her name. Michelle something.
Monaghan or something.
Monaghan, yeah.
So what about you, Wanglund? Apart from Donald Trump, who's your third and final sexiest man?
Stephen Amell, man. I love the dude.
Oh, he's a piece of lovely.
He's awesome as a person. I love Arrow's my favorite show out there, and he's even good in the ring for only being in there a couple times, man. I loved watching him at All In there. He kicks some ass.
Yeah, I heard you like him all in your ring.
He might be the only one I would, man. I love
him. Boy.
He's my number probably two or number. Vince Russo is my number one guy I want to get on the show. I've been trying Stephen Amell, man. He's my number two.
Yeah, but what word is you want to get Vince Russo on your chest?
That one.
He's got a great thick head of hair. I'll give him that.
He's got
Italians,
and he's an awesome guy.
Yeah,
and he's funny too. And I got him first. Oh, but I'm gonna have to go with number 3. Oh, but Stephen Amell, I'm gonna say, see that season, that crossover where he was the Flash.
My favorites. I'm
I'd like to mention that I'm pro transgender rights. Now let's go stop the bomb. And it's like,
yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm the supervillain and gay.
I saw an article that said the newest season of The Punisher, the villain is like super alt-right. That's why he's the villain. Like, he's a super alt-right conservative. I'm like, so is he a murderer or a criminal? What's going on? I know he's just really alt-right.
He's not doing Jigsaw.
Who?
And the new Punisher, they're not doing it with Jigsaw, with Billy going to Jigsaw as the main villain.
I don't know. It's just what I read in the article that was going to be the villain.
But I'm not surprised.
Everybody will love seeing him get killed. Then at least.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised those Netflix shows are getting canceled though, because it took them 13 episodes to set up Bullseye. It's like, well, did you really need 13 hours to set him up as the villain? Like, you should have done that 4 hours in and then give us another 7 episodes of what we really wanted to see.
I heard Disney's going to buy out all the rights to them all, and that's why they're just canceling them.
Well, Disney already does own them.
Yeah,
Disney
so
owns everything now.
that's going to make the Disney World experience a lot more fun, which I'm a big fan of. Plus, things are going to get weird with TV and even competing with Netflix because, Disney's coming out with their own Netflix-style network coming up.
That's
So
what I heard. The reason that they're canceling them and they're going to buy them all out and snatch them up for their new Netflix style.
there you go. Yeah, and they're snatching Disney and ESPN and stuff. They're having a big war with. I have Verizon cable. They're having a big war with Verizon where they're going to be pulling their networks. People are like, "Are you kidding me? You're not going to."
That's a lovely man with lovely big brown eyes. And the other one I'm going to give you, The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's ripped, but
he's too swollen for me.
with all the steroids he's jacked in himself, he's probably got one of these right here.
I think that it's triggering and upsetting that none of you picked non-white men that you're attracted to.
Ah.
Oh,
Okay.
here we go. There.
Hey,
Is he opening the can of worms here?
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to sign off, yeah?
All right.
Okay, well, it was another successful New Year's Eve party with the Creative Control boys. John Wanglund, mind to give yourself a plug?
Hit us up, guys. WR Podcast on Twitter. You can check us out on Instagram, WWRpodcast.com 2018. And we're on all the major networks, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, all that good stuff. Just type in Wrestling with Reality Podcast under the Creative Control Network. And that's where we're at.
And Kevin Gill, why don't you give yourself a plug there?
Come on, that's appalling. I saw on Twitter that Juventud Guerrera is looking for a podcast producer. And oh, by the way, Hughezy, you might like that shirt there, Axel DC. Here we go.
So it's gone from the Keeping It 100, Joe?
Hoovy, yeah, it seems like there's some heat there, and I don't know. He there was some problem with him in AAA, and then Conan can't use him due to it, and Hoovy thinks it's personal, and from Conan's side, it's not, and whatever. So, looks like he wants to start a podcast, and someone mentioned having Kevin Gill as a producer, and then the people was like, "Listen, I think Hoovy wants to draw listeners in, not turn them away." But
oh, that's great.
Yeah, your website plug there's made me realize I need to start a. I'm on Keeping It 100 with Conan weekly every Thursday, and then you can check out the Pro Wrestling Tee store, prowrestlingtees.com/cc with Joe Feeney.
There we go. Old lang syne, everybody. Okay, thank you, boys, and what a wild party that was. Up next is Esther Ku. Esther Ku's hilarious. We're talking about dealing with therapy. We're talking about dealing with O&A fans. We're talking about cancelled sitcoms. We're talking about how Hollywood only seems to care about black and white people and how Asians get left off to the side. Esther, hello. Okay, so hey, Esther Ku, thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
What's up? Thanks for having me, dude.
No problem, and if you want to make fun of Ireland at all, it's okay, we can handle it.
That's what, I've always liked Irish people.
That's something we don't have in common.
Well, like Irish Americans, not you. I've yet to make my decision about you. But Irish people in America are great because, I don't know, they're just self-deprecating and they're funny and they're just funny. Like, you guys are funny people.
It's because mental illness over here was never diagnosed, so it's just second nature.
Yeah, you guys kind of like hide everything and push everything under the rug, just like we do.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, some of the most insane people I've ever met are doctors.
Oh, I know. You know what? My freaking first therapist was texting me yesterday. Hey, just thinking about you. And I know she's trying to like drum up business and she wants me to like go see her again. But I'm like, I don't need to see you anymore. Like, I graduated from your school of therapy and I got what I need. Like, she had me going for like 2 years.
Let me ask you a question about therapists. When that job was created, do you think there was ever a debate about how it should have been spelt?
You know, I don't know how it was ever created, but sometimes these therapists, they have too much control over your life. Like, once I was done talking about all my like family upbringing issues and all that stuff that you're supposed to talk about, once I was done, rather than being like, okay, great, you're done, go out into the real world, you're fine now, go off, little birdie, you know? Yeah. Instead of doing that, I started talking about like work stuff, complaining about, you know, trivial things that I really would just, you know, not really need to talk to a therapist about. I could talk to a friend about, really, and I wouldn't really be burdening them. You know, sometimes therapists, I feel like they alienate you from your friends.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, let me stop burdening my friends. Because at first you're like, oh my God, I have somebody professional to talk to now about all of this stuff. I've been burdening my friends. But then you're like, you know what?
Different letters or whatever, or a comma.
They really rape your bank account. I'll tell you that. They tell, like, therapists, like, they kind of have the best job in the world because people just tell them secrets that they don't tell anybody else. It's kind of like that Catholic priest in the confession booth. That guy knows everything about everybody.
Yeah, plus
it's kind of like salacious stuff. Like, I cheated on my wife and, you know.
You're fine.
Yeah, I know. That's why they, like, my first therapist, she never ended it. I was like, I think I should end it with her.
Yeah, that's why I just always tell people, just get drunk and listen to rock and roll, and then there's all the therapy you need.
And then just pour your troubles onto a bartender.
But let's get on to the first question I've got for you. And I've wanted to ask you this specifically for...
So you probably saw all the episodes.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think people were used to seeing Triumph the Insult Comic Dog in an unscripted format. You know, when he goes to that hot dog place in Chicago, and he's just like, you know, Robert Smigel is the voice of Triumph, and he's just going off on people, and he's hilarious, and he's just good at like unscripted, you know, insults, right? But then I think in sitcom format, it was still really funny, but it was all scripted. And when you're used to seeing somebody who's hilarious unscripted, to see them in a scripted format, you're like, okay, that's still funny, but it's almost a drop in energy.
Yeah.
Robert Smigel, because he's a genius and he was amazing to work with. But the critics, I think, really brought that show down because they aired the 7 episodes, and then I think Adult Swim just listened to all the freaking people writing stories about like, oh, this is not as funny as when he's unscripted. And lay people just don't understand how comedy works. So I think it was still brilliantly funny. It just, you know, there's a different level of energy when it's a scripted show versus, you know, you're just man on the street style. So I think I blame the people who freaking wrote all the negative, you know, press about it, because they really didn't give the show a chance to kind of find its voice before they just all attacked it, because all these critics, that's what they do. They criticize.
But critics to me are just a bunch of, I call them clickbaitists, because if Esther Ku and The Rock do Mission Impossible 7, if I where critics are going to be obsolete, there's a big word for me.
Yeah, you know, these critics, everybody has a
fucking opinion, and who cares? You just look like what have you ever done besides just criticize other people's work? Like, how do you feel good about yourself just criticizing people's work for a living? And you probably barely make a living at that. You probably get paid like $25 an article to write that.
They don't deserve it.
Second. Yeah, so, you know, a lot of these networks are so afraid to invest in a show if, you know, 90% of the critics are like, oh, the show sucks. It was a big disappointment when we found out that the show wasn't going to continue.
It was a shame because they didn't really use you much in those early episodes, and it just seemed that she's getting ready to do something very, very viral.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I would have loved to see what else they would have written for me to do, because yeah, it was a super small role, but it was also like the first sitcom that I ever done, and it was just a good experience, and you know, I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was in front of a live audience, which was awesome, because just to have that energy, you know.
Well, speaking of live audiences, and considering you're a stand-up comedian, I've got to ask you about the latest sort of scandal or news story in the comedy world, and it's
I think my connection is going. Hello?
Have you ever? So that guy.
I can't hear you. All of a sudden, your accent is really difficult to understand. Anyway, more about the Jack and Triumph show.
No, but I gotta ask you, Louis C.K.
You want permission to jerk off to me in this video right now?
Was I supposed to ask? I'll do the interview like this.
In America, we ask. I don't know what you guys do.
Well, it's just assumed over here. You know, it's the Catholic Church thing, and you know.
But you don't have to wait for me to answer. You could just keep going. Plow right through my answer. This is going great, because I interviewed Joe Matarese earlier. Don't know if you know him. Yeah, of course.
And it was awkward, I should say.
What happened? Oh, you did a show with him?
No, I did an interview with him earlier on, and I don't know if he was stoned but it just didn't seem to pick up, you know.
That's just his personality.
Lucky me. But
not you, it's him.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I gotta ask you about the Louis C.K. thing, and what do you think about this sort of outrage to the fact that he did this controversial stand-up comedy set? Do you think that it's kind of deserved, or would you say it's people are sort of overreacting to just jokes?
Well, you know, if I were Louis C.K., I would have bought those pouches that you put your cell phone in. So anywhere where I'm performing, if, you know, everybody wants to see him perform, right? He's a hot name on a marquee, and that I would make that a stipulation, you know, like I would buy those pouches. How much can they possibly cost? $30 at most for one. He could afford it. And then just make it mandatory. You put your phone in those pouches, and I'm sure people would comply. His fans would comply. And, you know, one person uploaded that, and then now he has to write a whole nother hour. So.
Because the thing about him is that, like, for me personally, I never liked him. I never found him funny. But I just think that it's strange that people are getting offended by his jokes now. Whereas if you look at his comedy specials, like Chewed Up, his opening bit was how he loved to say the N-word and how he loved saying
my God, especially those types of like bad shoulders. And I was like, yeah, it's really good, it's really good. And then I was like, yeah, well, because you talked about the Parkland students, right? So,
you know, it's not like he was doing a benefit for the Parkland students, you know, not to defend him, but at the same time, it's not like we're raising money for school shooting victims. So I felt it was unfair because he didn't know that it was going to be uploaded. But at the same time, he knows that that's a risk, which is why I would buy those.
fucking doctors. Like, why didn't he do that? You know, as brilliant as people call him and his joke writing and his, TV show and his stand-up, it's like, sometimes you gotta take these little precautions to make sure people aren't playing your material.
But would you say that these are quite possibly the toughest times of being a comedian in such PC times?
You know, I do think it is hard. Like, I do find myself like looking at my material going, oh, I know this section would be considered offensive by these people. And in the past, we never thought about that. At the beginning, I would just say whatever the
If nobody would care, but there's also the place of saying, like, it's like you're trading in your anonymity for fame, still not content calls.
I don't envy him right now.
Yeah, because that's why I had stopped doing stand-up, because I thought I'm actually going to get sent to jail for doing some of these jokes here.
Yeah, because people right now are so hypersensitive that they're taking everything literally. And if somebody took everything that I said literally, I would be in trouble too. We'd all be in trouble because people just, for some reason, people don't understand sarcasm right now.
Yeah, it's like the autism is strong with this country.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in the water. I know some cargo ships like lost some of those what are those huge metal cargos, and chemicals are leaked into the oceans. So that's why I don't eat that much seafood, because, everything's contaminated. I mean, I know the oceans are super big, so it's like, what are the chances? But maybe there's just too many chemicals in the water. People are losing their sarcasm gene.
But would you like to hear the joke that made me give up doing stand-up?
Okay, what is it?
It's like, because the lady went on after me, and I'd done jokes, like, I'm not saying I'm like Rodney Dangerfield, but I had the stuff I would have. It's funny if you like sort of dirty humor about penises and things like that. But the lady went up after me, and this was just when Snapchat had really started picking up. And she says, oh, this guy from my office asked if he could follow me on Snapchat. And she goes, yeah, that's what I need. Another way for a man to demean me. And it got an applause break. And I'm like, what?
Oh, what kind of?
There's no such thing as a big dick in Ireland. And I'm asking if there's a test there. Do you get to use as a comedian? Because, like, I know you used to like open out for you and stuff like that.
Basically, it seems to me that like comedians almost have to prepare jokes to go in to do these radio shows to promote their comedy.
Right. No, I find it fun to do interviews and radio shows. I'm full of myself just like every other comedian. So I love talking about myself. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but do you ever feel like sometimes they're trying to set you up, or they leave you out to hang, or do you just go for it?
No, I don't feel like I'm being set up ever. It's usually just a hang.
Let me ask you, what do you find the difference in Twitter followers to Instagram followers? Because I know a comedian she's out in America. Well, she's from America. Her name's Jax Delosa or Delaosa or something like that. And like she posts stuff on Twitter, and people go, "That's hilarious, nice one." And then if she posts a photograph on Instagram, and this is for you too, they get some of the sleaziest, creepiest.
I think there's plenty of sleazy guys on Twitter too. What are you talking about? No, the thing is, for Instagram, you're opening that up because if you're posting a photo
of you in a tight skirt or a low-cut shirt, it's like, you know, you almost want those comments because it's like walking by a construction site and you're wearing like a new outfit and the guys don't whistle. It's like, oh my God, do I look like
shit? So, you know, as much as like we pretend to hate the sleazy comments, you know, there's a part of us that does like it. Well, that's me. Yeah, but sometimes at the time,
we had hosted the AVN Awards, and some of the guys just like, well, what do you think she's gonna?
Yeah, sometimes can go a little overboard. That's what the black button is for. Well, I feel Instagram people kind of have to be more,
I don't know, Twitter, you can hide behind that egg. You know, whereas Instagram, I can see who you are. You have a pic. Most Instagram people have a picture. Whereas Twitter, they could just be somebody trolling you. So I feel like there's more trolls on Twitter than Instagram, actually.
Let me ask you this, because I've got a multiracial brothers and sisters. My brother's half black. My sister's half Filipino. I suppose you'd say my brother's actually half Nigerian, not half black. But yeah, and I was talking to her about it, and we were talking about the fact that in Hollywood, all you ever hear every
Yeah, because Asians, we just like to write emails and be on our computers. So we're not really out there with the picketing and the holding up a sign. We feel like that's a waste of our time. So that's why you still don't see that many Asian actors really protesting. So we're just not known to be loud and obnoxious to begin with.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's part of the reason, you know, that we like to hide behind computers and, you know, we'll do your IT, but a lot of Asian, I don't know. I mean, there's Crazy Rich Asians and things are changing. And so with that movie being so successful, I think it helps everybody, all Asians in entertainment.
What does the title of Crazy Rich Asians actually mean? Does that mean that they're rich and they're all mentally ill? Or that they're very, very rich people from Asian ethnicity?
No, I think it means they're just crazy rich. Not that they're crazy and rich, but they're just crazy rich. Like, you know, rich people, but then you know, crazy rich people.
Like they have well over £4,000 and stuff like that?
Yeah, like in Singapore, you need $75,000 just to have a car.
Really?
Like, the government taxes you $75,000. Like, you can't even just own a car. You have to pay $75,000 just to be able to drive a car on the streets in Singapore.
Singapore, more like Singa Rich, am I right? But it's like but it's like when you hear stuff like that, film titles like that don't make sense to me, because you ever heard this?
No. Singapore doesn't make sense because it was him in this story. He had hit and down national backgrounds. But based on that title, it shouldn't be about
2 girlfriends going after vampires instead?
I think they were hoping that you get confused, and anybody who likes lesbians, vampires, or hunters will go see the movie.
But it's true, but well, nobody did because James Corden's face was in it. But the thing I gotta say, I'm not a fan of that guy at all. So, but the thing I'm gonna say though about when we're talking about Asian actors is that according to Hollywood, there's one Asian actress in Hollywood. It's that girl Anna Fonica or I don't know her name. How to pronounce it? Antifa, is that her name?
What about Lucy Liu?
Oh, I don't talk about her anymore ever since I broke up with her.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she couldn't handle it.
No, the thing is, there are Asian actors in Hollywood. There's not just one. There's a handful.
Well, I say we need more, and
well, you know what? That's what was so great about my getting on the Jack and Triumph show. The two other girls that I was up against at my screen test, they were blonde girls. And the role wasn't written for an Asian girl. It was just for a secretary. And I auditioned, I went the traditional way, and then I got it. It wasn't made specifically for a minority. They were just looking for a secretary. So I think sometimes, people can be colorblind, and I get these breakdowns of like, we're looking for Asian this and Asian actress. And it's like, yeah, but just send me out for waitress roles, send me out for teacher roles, for wife, for mom, for secretary, whatever, like, why does everything have to be so defined beforehand?
Well, that's the thing. What's going to be great for Asian actors is, I know I've hit it very well from you, but I'm quite a nerd. And I know you're going to be shocked to hear that, and I hate to break the news, but I'm a huge Marvel guy. And they've announced they're making a Hands of Shang-Chi film. So that's going to be like the Asian version of Black Panther. So that's when we're finally going to get to see something done properly.
Oh, wow. What's it called?
It's called The Hands of Shang-Chi, and they've been trying to make it for years, and the word is they're trying to get Ang Lee to make it like a Marvel version of Will Smith was in.
Protest.
I'll come. I'll be there. But let me ask you, because I sort of mentioned one of them earlier, James Corden. But what's it like with these modern talk shows? Because it used to be back in the 90s. Because it's just some goof like Jimmy Fallon or James Corden coming out going, have you noticed it? Donald Trump has funny hair. And then everybody laughs, and it's like, how's he getting paid for this?
I know, I do find watching podcasts are more interesting than watching late night talk shows.
Yeah, because it's real people, Because
it's just real conversation, whereas, that late night talk shows, everybody knows, because it was almost embarrassing when the writers went on strike and all those late night talk shows had to go off the air. Because it's like, oh, you mean to say that those people are not saying their real thoughts? Newsflash, no, it's all pre-written. And so I thought it was so embarrassing because you want to kind of fool the general public into thinking that, as the host, you're coming up with all this material, but they have a whole staff of writers. Yeah. And so I think it's more impressive when somebody like a Joe Rogan can, just start a podcast from nothing and then just build it into this humongous platform. And there's a reason why more people watch that than a lot of late night talk shows.
Definitely. But I gotta ask you, as again, when I first became aware of you, it was from the Opie and Anthony show appearances. And like, I think it's fair to say that the Opie and Anthony fan base, like they're very dedicated, supportive, but they can also turn on people and be really hard to deal with. So I got to ask you, what's been your experiences of dealing with the Opie and Anthony fan base?
Well, they have been, they are very dedicated. You know, they've been great. They've purchased cameo shout outs from me to kind of rip on Anthony and Jimmy and, you know, the whole gang. So I'm waiting for I'm sure they'll turn on me one day. The day hasn't come yet, but I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Yeah, because it's weird because there's a guy I know, his name's Zion Z, I think it's pronounced that, and he hosts a show on YouTube called The Drunk Stream. And it's usually like a 3-hour long show, and for 40 minutes it's really funny, and then the last 2 hours and 20 minutes is 5 people calling in and yelling the N-word at him. He's a black guy, I forgot to mention that. And it's just like, ugh. It's like, it's so...
He continues taking calls?
Oh, yeah, but he loves it, and it's like a mentally ill guy because he's getting blackout drunk and falling asleep on the air. And one time he stood up and took a piss on his own floor because he forgot the camera was on. And it's like, what is up with this fan base? Opie and Anthony, people are all in...
What do you expect from a group of people who want their Panera Bread, you know? Like, you're not getting the most intelligent. Now they're gonna turn on me for doing that.
What's your last name? Hughes?
Hitler.
For doing your show.
Oh, yeah. But I gotta, how's stuff for you and Opie? Because I know that there was a little bit of awkwardness because you dared bring up Anthony's name to him.
You know, the thing is, after that show, I never really saw him again. I came back into the Opie and Jimmy show, but...
He wasn't there. He was, like, conveniently out of the office.
Mm.
So I did go back and I did, you know, I did want to like kind of resolve our conversation because it was so awkward that one time. And then I never really ran into him again.
It's a shame because for me, I always thought Opie and Anthony was better than...
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like it was kind of time anyway, like, people, you know, it's hard to do a show with somebody for as long as they did. Like, the fact that it went for that long, I think is pretty impressive because, you know, once you
work every day with the same
fucking person, no matter who it is, and no matter what their annoying habits are, you're gonna get annoyed by them. Like, how can you not? I can't fucking believe Bush Springsteen wants to sing Be on the Wind to me again. I'm gonna starve him.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's hard to stay together as a band, as a radio show for as long as they did. Maybe that's why Howard Stern keeps Robin in a glass box, you know, so they don't get too sick of each other. I don't know, but I think any endeavor like that, it's
hard, man. I'm sorry.
And this is the question that your whole career relies on, and your whole fan base and everything. So here's the question. The Spice Girls are back. Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Oh, wow. I would have to say Scary Spice.
Nope. The answer we were looking for was baby.
Damn it.
It's close. But hey, you had a good career while it lasted, you know?
It was a tough question. You threw me off with that one.
Oh, damn. Well, listen, Esther, thanks very much for coming on. It's been great to talk to you. I've been a fan of you for years. So actually, the fact that you responded was amazing. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I had fun. I'm glad I understood your accent. And, you know, Irish people and Korean people, we both have a drinking problem, full of mental issues, suicide, mental problems. So I'm not surprised we got along swimmingly.
Brilliant. And I can't even swim. That makes it even better. Okay, thank you, Esther. And that's the episode. And this is a little bit of breaking news. Coming up soon to the podcast, possibly in a week or two, we've got 2 new guests that have just agreed to come on. Perez Hilton and Jackie the Joke Man Martlin. So I can't wait for that. Thank you for listening. It's Hughezy. Bye-bye.